knows this, but he says his grandpa's gone a bit loopy since his grandma died. Then he says that geriatric porn isn't a bad idea. It could be really profitable because there are hundreds of thousands of nursing homes, this huge captive audience. And what else do they have to do all day but sit around and poop? That makes me think that maybe my boyfriend might not be the kind of guy I want to spend the rest of my life with, even though he remembers to clean his hair out of the bathtub drain, and he recycles newspapers. I think of my grandma who's still mourning over my grandpa and sees him in dreams and gets mad and asks where the hell he's been over the past 10 years. When she wakes up, she apologizes to the air, but in her dreams, when she's done getting mad at him, she doesn't say what they do. Maybe they have coffee at the kitchen table, maybe they watch some game show on TV, maybe something more intimate, who knows? But my boyfriend says that when you get old, your whole body gives up because gravity's had its way with you. And I tell him there could be a beauty to it, like a melting candle. Then he looks at me like I've suggested we watch geriatric porn. But hell, maybe sex isn't that bad at 80. There could be a sweetness to it, a slowness, a sincerity like a waltz. Or it could be avant-garde and experimental, because what might happen when you get together an 80-year-old farmer and a 77-year-old watercolor artist who look at each other and say, well, damn, we could be dead next year. And sex 80 is probably great. No need to worry about kids, no need to rush off to work to get groceries. You just kind of linger, pleased that you still have your life, and at least one person in the world doesn't mind seeing you naked. My boyfriend says I'm gross, but he thinks foreplay is 2 minutes of tongue kissing, and whenever I start to wonder what it might look like at 80, I scratch my head and decide it's not going to matter. Okay, Larissa becomes a vegetarian. By eating all the meat in my house so I feel sick and never want to see the chem stuff ever again. And this is something I want to do for a myriad of ethical reasons I don't entirely understand, but they sound good when I hear serious tattooed people with glasses talking about them on the evening news. And after I consume the second pound of bacon, I would befriend all the pigs in the world if they could get rid of my heartburn. So for a half hour I sit in the bathroom eating antacids and looking at my own reflection, wishing to be saved. In the morning, I am bright and new, and there is no pork in the house, so I call my parents to tell them of my revelation. And on the other end of the line, my dad is silent, like I told him I shaved my head and moving to a commune in India, and he says, "You're becoming a what?" I say, "Vegetarian." He says, "Didn't we raise you right?" I say, "You raised me on hamburgers and roast chicken." He says, "Exactly." I say, "Today is the first day of my new culinary existence." He says he'll come over this evening with steak and words of wisdom. For lunch, one of my friends takes me out to this veggie joint and says I should try the tofu dogs because they're good. And I agree they're not bad, but question the hypocrisy of eating something that looks like meat. And she says that even vegetarians have to put something in the bun. But after work, my dad keeps the steak promise and arrives with a medium rare T-bone to set on my coffee table while he rants that I have lost my way. And he tries to pull me back from the communion of soy, but the conversion has been too deep. The meat sits red and bleeding on the coffee table, while my father preaches that eating meat is natural. He lists carnivorous mammals: lions, wolves, tigers, lynxes, bears. I say, bears are omnivores. He says, "Don't get technical with me, young lady, this is serious." He says he will go home and make chili with brown sirloin, and it will be waiting for me when I come to my senses. I thank him politely and know he is wrong, but in the morning after my oatmeal, I miss the crisp, fatty taste of bacon lingering on my tongue. Could I be slipping so quickly? For 3 days, pigeons flitting on the sidewalk make me salivate, turn into tiny roast turkeys flying on blue platters, a vision to test my commitment. And in that moment of weakness, I buy a cheesesteak from a sidewalk vendor. I'm about to take a bite, but leaves of guilt I don't understand make me throw myself to the lady with the coffee cup of change outside the shoe store where I work. I say, "Take my cheesesteak, please." And she thanks me, her eyes quizzical but bright with hunger. I have resisted that first temptation, the weakness of flesh for flesh, as I take another sainted step towards the salad bar. And the last one for tonight is one of my current favorites. It's Larissa meets Bigfoot. Larissa meets Bigfoot, who I'm pretty sure lives in the thicket in my backyard, because if you were Bigfoot, it's where you'd go to avoid the photographers and baggers and economic crisis, because everyone is trying to make a buck, and you can end up on the cover of the National Enquirer again in a dissecting table in And in the cab, you can put on the radio and croon some old country song because they're sappy and about loss. And when you're Bigfoot, you have a lot to lose. So during your vacations, you can put on jeans and an extra large flannel shirt and a cowboy hat and go to Nashville to the Grand Ole Opry, where half the singers are as hairy as you, and you can sit in the back row and weep because that's how it is, man. You lose your dog and your woman and your truck, and it's enough to make you hole up in some cabin and invent theories on why people won't leave you alone. It's a big conspiracy, and who cares if you exist because you know you do, and that's all that matters. But I know that Bigfoot exists, and he is in my backyard, and I'm not telling anyone. Just leaving a package of pre-cooked hot dogs and some buns and potato chips and cream-filled sandwich cookies on the back step, and if they're gone in the morning, it could be the neighborhood kids, but really it's Bigfoot living in my thicket, listening to Johnny Cash on the radio, and waiting for good times to come around again.